What's up, guys? We're back out in the shop. So the other day, I resurfaced our deck. Like, I just took off the decking boards and put up new railings and put new deck boards on, obviously. But while I was at Lowe's picking up some material, I went ahead and got some one-by material for a little picnic table for my son so he can hang out there and eat lunch outside with us and all that. And so this one-by stuff is just perfect for making smaller, kid-sized furniture outside. I know it's a stretch calling it furniture, but I'm using 1x6 for the top, and I use 1x4 for the legs and seats. Let's see that coming up. So here I am, just deciding which sides I want up and down and laying them out for the top. And here in a second I'll show you. This is the only reference photo that I had for the whole thing. I didn't take any measurements or anything off the internet, look anything up. I just saw a picture and figured I could go ahead and do it. It turned out pretty good. Not exactly sure what you'd call these pieces that I'm cutting right here, but they hold together the top and they hold up the legs. See, I cut them, they're about ½ inch short on either side of it, so overall it's about 1 inch short of the entire depth of the table. And I put 30-degree bevels on each end of it just to reduce some of that blockiness that you get, and it's just less of a chance that anybody will hit their knees on it when they're getting in and out of the table. Okay, now I am laying out exactly where I want these little stretchers to go that I just cut. I think I put them 6 inches from either end of the table edge, but it doesn't really matter as long as you have enough seat room in between the legs, you're fine. Here in a second you'll see me do something that's often overlooked when people use treated materials. So I'm talking about specifically on decks. People don't take the extra step to run a straight edge or a string or a line all the way across your material and mark out from the edges exactly where your screws are going to go. It just makes everything look a whole lot nicer when your screws are on a straight line and they're all the same distance from the edge of your boards. Pretty self-explanatory here. I'm going to go ahead and attach these stretchers onto that first plank of the tabletop, and that lets everything else just kind of fall into place. Alright, so again, I didn't have any reference angles or measurements to go off of, so I'm really just eyeballing the whole thing and making each 4 corners the same. So I'm just figuring out kind of what angle I'm wanting these legs to look like and at what height the seat's going to be and how tall this is going to be off the ground. And originally I was worried about making it too tall because obviously it's for a toddler. But I ended up making it a little short and redoing the whole thing, which you'll see here in a little bit. Okay, so now that I got my lengths decided, I went ahead and grabbed some extra hands to hold that up there and kind of figured out what this was going to look like a little better. And it turned out my angle was 45, which is pretty convenient. But again, that's going to change later. You'll see. And we're back at it with the metal hands. Just getting all these clamped on, held in place so I can put it up on the table and kind of see what it looks like. Those are definitely one of the most underrated tools in a shop, especially because they're so cheap. I think I got each of those for like 99 cents at Home Depot years ago. But they come in handy almost more than anything, just when you need to hold something real quick. This right here is called FSS, flat surface syndrome. No matter how big of a table you got in your shop, there's no telling or limit to how many ways you can fill that space up and make it unusable for the moment. These right here are my seat supports, and I put the same miter on the ends of these as I did the bottom brackets for the tabletop. So I got 30 degrees on either end, just to make sure no kids hit their knees or ankles or anything on it. And once you've found where you want this seat to sit, below the bottom of the tabletop or from the ground, drop that down 3/4 of an inch or just the thickness of your material, and then you make your marks there. Measure the distance across on the outsides of your legs from that mark to the other mark on the other leg, and then add almost the thickness of your material. So here I was using 1x4s, which means I have 7 inches to add onto this to make that stretcher full length. But I subtracted an inch from that distance, so each end I could recess it a 1/2 inch and it wouldn't be sticking out or flush, so it's even more out of the way. And here's the finished product right here. Didn't realize how short and small this would be, so in the next clip I've come back the next day, as you can see because I've changed my outfit. After my son had got in it a little bit, he was scraping his thighs on the tabletop bottom. So I went ahead and made new legs for it and new stretchers and put it back together, but it turned out being a good thing because it incentivized me to take it apart, ease all the edges with a router, and sand everything really nice so there's no splinters or sharp edges. So my remedy for the height and the distance from the tabletop is twofold. One, I changed the angle on the legs to 40 degrees, and just that 5-degree change on each leg and adding 4 inches makes it a whole heck of a lot taller. I think I added like 4 inches to the whole thing. So then I lowered the seat down another 2 inches as well. So now we're 6 inches below the bottom of the tabletop, I think. Also, 10 bonus points if you can put in the comments the title of the movie that I'm watching while doing this. It is one of my all-time favorites. This board will become the new stretchers because now that I changed the angle and the length of those new legs, I have to make longer stretchers. But again, doing the same thing, adding 3 inches for either side. That way I get a 1/2 inch recess on it and it's out of the way underneath that seat. But I think from here on out, now it's just rinse and repeat, ease those edges with the router, and sand everything down before I put it back together. Also, I don't know what the heck is going on with some of these video files. They're just really choppy for some reason. I think it may just be the quality of my SD card. I may need to upgrade them, but just bear with me on that, I guess. Now just measuring and double checking that my screw holes are going to line up, which they should, because that seat is the same length as the top. Okay, here it is all finished up. I've sanded everything, rounded off all the corners with the router, and it's really a lot smoother and nicer, I think, to sit on for him. But I made those legs, I think they ended up being like 22.5 inches long, which at the 40-degree angle gives us 13 off the floor. And the seat bottoms are at 6 and 6 3/4 for the top of the seats, which gives us about 6 1/8 of room for legs to go in and out. The whole thing is 36 inches wide, and that top 16 3/4, that's not going to change unless you add a board or rip something down. And this is before I adjusted those legs and made them taller. And it's just kind of cramped on him, and he was scraping his legs trying to get in and out of the thing. And you can see how short it is on him. Also, his face is blurred out because he's in witness protection right now, actually. He was a witness called to the stand on a really big case, so we cannot reveal his identity at this time. There it is, all finished up and redone. I put boiled linseed oil on it after everything just to give it a nice sheen, and it really makes it look a lot nicer, and it is really smooth. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.